This is the F1 podcast. I'm Racing Way. This is the man, not in the pits, but he still has those tits. Brendan. Hey, hello, mate. You all right?
Joker, mate. Yeah, doing all right. You?
Yeah, doing all right. Yeah, let's get a beer down us. Right, so did we enjoy the race? Did we enjoy the race?
Yeah, it was a good race, wasn't it?
It was a good race, you know. Forget Verstappen because he's going to win it, but behind it again, well, the whole rest of the field all over the show.
Yeah, it was good. It was a challenge, to be honest. It's going to be interesting to see how our predictions went.
I'm looking at them right now, actually. I think you're all right.
I'm pretty sure I am. I've never listened all the way through to the predictions. We do predictions.
Yeah. Anybody who's listening, one of our 75 beautiful people, this is the first, on average, 2 minutes that you're going to get to hear. So we do predictions at the end. You can stick around. Why don't you stick around? One of you.
Just for today.
Just for today. See if you like it. I'm losing.
We have had some people hanging around, haven't we?
We have. We had a question for you. Not for me, for you.
Rehan Zarif.
Yes.
He said, they say they listen to the end of the show, so...
Yeah. Do you think he listens right?
I don't know if it's just one episode or all of them.
Do you think mentioning him now means he's had his mention, he's going to turn off?
No,
let's not talk about it.
Answer the question until the end of the show.
Yeah, right at the end.
By the way...
by the way, that question you had, that for some strange reason you thought I couldn't answer, which I'm a bit insulted about. But actually, I know the truth that I couldn't answer it. So we could go straight into. Have you got the results there? Have you got the results there? Just one thing. Where did you watch it? Did you watch it on Sky or Channel 4 or what was the quality of presenting like?
Sky. What?
What was the quality of presenting like? I'm very interested in the presenters nowadays as well.
Bernie was on. Bernie was on F1 on Sky.
Bernie Eccleston. Oh no, Bernie. They won't have Bernie Eccleston on again, will they? Who knows what that man's going to say?
Bernie Collins.
Bernie Collins.
Bernie Collins, former McLaren performance engineer.
She knows her stuff. She does know her stuff.
Yeah. She was brilliant. Some of the stuff she came away with left Crofty aghast.
Yeah.
He was like, wow, I hadn't thought of that, but thank you for your input, Bernie. And it was just, I remember thinking, wow, that's interesting. Think of it like that.
Yeah.
Can't remember what it was.
You can't remember what it was. He's had a glass of wine.
Nah.
I'm going to be honest. I'm glad the kids aren't on it anymore. I'm sorry. It just doesn't feel right watching kids doing it.
Oh, they have a different channel. They did it on what was it? They did it one of the other weeks. But you had to press the red button to watch it.
Yeah, just
it wasn't.
You have a little pick there, mate. You got an ingrown hair there. You want to get those?
You know what it's like, mate.
Well, yeah. Under there, the old neck beard. Not attractive, apparently. Not attractive.
Once again, great content for the radio.
Great content, people. Great content. We're talking about beards. And what initially I watched it, I woke up nice and early to watch the race. Okay.
Oh, I didn't.
And
I watched it on the replay.
Oh no, I was up at 6 a.m, cooked myself a nice breakfast, watched it, and I thought before I go out to work, I can have a little doze. Right, it's finished. The race is finished, and I had a little doze, and I could hear some presenters on. And there's one man talking, and I thought he sounds like Martin Brundle. I had it on my iPad. I'm dozing off. And it was Martin Brundle's son. Who'd have thunk it? But I could tell by the voice. How odd.
On Channel 4, or what was he on?
This was on Sky. It was like, not Ted's Notebook, but one of those post-race things, right? One of those post-race things.
Right.
And I heard his voice, and you just hear his voice. He sounds like Martin Brundle. Didn't have to look at him.
Alex Brundle.
Is that his name? Oh, there you go. The wonders of Google. He knew that already. You knew it already. Don't destroy the illusion. But he sounds like his dad. He sounds exactly. You know it straight away. He's better looking than his dad, obviously, but that's the way it's got to be, isn't it?
In your opinion? He does a lot of endurance driving. He
Oh,
does
for
Le Mans
Christ's
and,
sake, in my opinion. It's the law of biology. Your kids are going to be better looking than you. That's the way it is.
We know that you've you've spent some time on Grindr and Tinder.
You just
these
can't
kind of
wait
apps.
to get that grinder in.
Your opinion is more educated than mine.
You're very. I'm very concerned that you're very interested in Grindr. Have you got it on your phone or something? Is this?
Mate, you're the one that keeps bringing up dating guys and all this kind of stuff. So it's just
I'm very secure in my sexuality. I can recognise a good-looking guy
is it working
and compliment him without worrying about whether it's that. We've really hit a bit of a cul-de-sac conversationally here, haven't we? Anyway,
you protest so much. You protest so much. It's nice to poke the bear every now and then.
Oh, for Christ! So what are you doing there? What are you looking up there?
I was just seeing if there's anything interesting about Alex Brundle.
Has he ever been a racer?
He drove Formula E for a while. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
But mostly recently he's been doing the World Endurance Championship and Le Mans and stuff like that.
Interestingly, he was on this show with Emerson Fittipaldi's son as well, who's another racer, but I wouldn't recognise his voice. It was just that he had the same Martin Brundle voice. There we go. So should we get on to a good race, bad race?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. He's already tired. Ladies and gentlemen, good race, bad race.
Steering wheel. Somebody tell him to give it to me. Come on, move.
Hey! Let's do this. Okay. Who was last? Apart from Perez, who finished, retired, then didn't retire, then retired.
5 DNFs.
Go on.
Well, 5 DNFs. Valtteri Bottas. I think Perez.
Terrible race.
For quite a few of them.
Yeah, Perez is just weaving across the track, taking people out. Perez is driving at the moment. It's a bit like he's driving the F1 computer game without damage on. He's just I can overtake this car if I just wipe them out.
You've not seen the memes on social media, have you? There's a picture
what social media?
Famous one where they're peeling off notes.
All right.
Are
you going to describe a meme to me and expect me to laugh?
Yeah.
Go on. Okay, do it.
There's a guy doing that. Instead of notes, he's shedding off his hand. He's shedding off wings for Red Bull,
Yeah.
And then there's obviously the obvious ones that Red Bull gives you wings and more because he had 3 different wings during that race, didn't he?
I see. That must be hilarious to look at in pictorial form. But he did get through some wings. The first crash at the start kind of wasn't his fault. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
But the rest, he's just he's terrible overtaking.
There was he? No. And as we touched on previously about the punishment fitting the crime.
We can talk about that in pit talk. I've got
Albon.
some ideas. For that.
Yeah, Alex Albon and Kevin Magnussen both said that the punishment that Perez got didn't fit his crime, considering the impact it had on their races, and then considering the fact that even though he came into the pits, retired the car, he went back out and served a second time penalty, which allegedly the FIA are going to close down this week, so we'll see what happens.
Well, we'll talk about that in pit. You just took away anything I was going to talk about in pit talk. Brilliant, thank you for that. Who was next not finished?
Lance Stroll again.
Oh, what is it? This is if there's 2 teammates that aren't up to the scratch, it's Perez and Stroll, isn't it?
Well, with Sargent, he's the other DNF.
Sargent's gone. Sargent is not going to have his absolutely. His contract is not going to be renewed.
Interesting article from quoting Dave Robson, who's the head of vehicle performance for Williams, saying that the high-profile accidents are masking his progress.
Oh yeah,
that's
obviously.
very loyal, right?
That's like being a
Very
taxi
loyal
driver who is really good but just keeps crashing the taxi.
Lovely car, smells delightful in the
Yeah,
car.
yeah. He got me
Crashes
just
you into the
about
wall.
to where he got me home in that ambulance, but he got me home.
Drops you 3 miles out, yeah.
Yeah, just you can't. You're the best taxi driver I ever had, but unfortunately, you've crushed 5 taxis in the first week.
I mean, it's getting to the point with Williams where they're commenting on the availability of car chassis and parts. That's why he had a grid penalty, because he was on his third car, his third chassis of the season. You're allowed 2.
You're allowed 2, and he's not even near the end of the season.
Another
boy
6 races
is
to go, another 7 races.
Yeah, boy. They must put him out the last 2 just to save a chassis. Just, Logan,
he's winning the champion.
Logan, have you got any money? Because we need to buy another chassis.
Yeah. And then there was Alex Albon. He was taken out by Perez.
Alex Albon has just terrible luck.
Yeah. He got 52 laps around though. Oh no, he got 26 laps.
Listeners. So Albon, Logan, he's gone.
Yeah, Albon was gone. So both Williams didn't finish. Yeah, so that was pretty bad. But and then K-Mag, he was 15th. He was a lap down.
Not really.
Him and Nico Hülkenberg. You know, considering that K-Mag had the bump with Perez, he was nowhere the whole race anyway.
It's Haas, though, isn't it? That's got to be the car. It's Haas. I'm concerned with Bottas. He's having a terrible time, and he's a good driver.
Yeah.
This is a race winning
off the track. He's loving his life off the track. He knows what's happening with Sauber. So, and then when it becomes Audi, he's involved in all that, and so he can see a clear path to the future. I think he's probably enjoying himself. He's probably quite happy within himself. The car performance, same with Zhou Guan Yu to some extent.
Yeah.
Alfa Romeo aren't putting money into that, so I'm sure they're quite tight on the budget. Sauber's got to fund it for a year, and then Audi are going to come in, and then we'll see what happens.
It's a bit of a shame. He's a great driver. Doesn't deserve that.
Yeah.
Zhou Guan Yu's not bad either, and it's just a terrible car, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Shame, really.
It's a shame. So you had K-Mag, who was next?
K-Mag, then the Hulk at 14th, we've covered them. Zhou was 13th, covered him. And then 12th was Yuki, and 11th was Liam Lawson. So both Alpha Tauris, 12th and 11th, just outside the points.
And
again,
Liam Lawson symbolically ahead of Yuki.
At his home Grand Prix,
And he's still not got the seat. No seat for Lawson.
Do have a bit of an update on that, but we will keep it until pit talk, shall we?
Yeah, and if you're listening out there, why not stick around for that update? Just let's get an average viewing of 7 minutes. What are we on now? Too late. They've gone already. It's gone already. We should pepper the first 2 minutes with, this is what we're going to tell you about. It's not bad. It's not bad.
I don't think that policy would work. Coming up on the Everyone's Go podcast.
Well, the news didn't work. I was thinking about that the other day. I really missed doing the news. I have to get back on that. Who was next?
Maybe you should edit bits of the show into it on, the way they cut in some of the bits on a TV show. They show you the highlights, like a little trailer of what.
We'll do a little trailer at the beginning on this week's show.
Yeah.
Silence.
And just us laughing.
Yeah. Okay, who's next?
Pierre Gasly in 10th. and Ocon in 11th. There was good grouping with the teams this week.
It does seem to feel like that. A lot of just teams, people fighting for number one spot in the team. It feels like that's what. Well, obviously not in Red Bull and Aston, but for the others, they're all fighting for the number one spot, aren't they? And they all seem to finish line astern. Yeah. So what do we think?
Pierre was 4 seconds behind Esteban, so they weren't super close, but they were, like as you said, line astern.
Did they ever get into any little scrapes amongst each other? I don't remember him.
Ocon was involved at the start. I think it was Ocon that pushed everybody over at the start and caused that bit of a brouhaha with was it Albon and Bottas at the start?
Yeah, there seemed to be like 3 separate bits to the start. There was the start with the McLarens and the Red Bull, and then there was like the little bit of a nudge with Perez in that 4 abreast thing, and at the back it just went.
Yeah,
it was. Cars bumping all over the place.
Yeah.
So next, so you had Ocon,
and then Fernando's 8th.
Yeah, what's going on with Aston Martin? They've just been outdeveloped. Yeah, that was the word. It was in my head about 10 minutes ago, and I had to, outdeveloped over the season, really, haven't they? Yeah. And it's a shame, but Alonso still gets it in the points.
Yeah.
Stroll, on the other hand.
Come on, if we're comparing teammates, he still brings it home every race. He's the second lowest cost for a car this year. Max Verstappen's lowest, which isn't a surprise. Logan Sargent's highest, which isn't a surprise. But Fernando's second.
Yes,
and that shows you, he doesn't damage the car. He brings them home. He doesn't break them. He's
reliable. He's a safe pair of hands.
Which that kind of makes Stroll look even worse, because it shows that it's not an inherent problem with the car. It's not a reliability issue. It's just a crap driver in the seat.
And he's getting it in the points. If it was floating around at the back, they kind of would be like, oh, it doesn't matter. But the points make money.
Yeah.
And especially when you're in a battle for like third or in the constructors or second, these are big deals.
Yeah.
And you've got to have two cars in the race. I was trying to think of an analogy, but the perfect analogy was having both cars in the race.
Well, the fact that he was having battles on track as well shows that the car, he's still in there and fighting, and he's doing it safely. How many weekends have we seen him holding people up or having fights for people for places? But he's doing it in a way that's not damaging the car.
That's it. Just not being reckless.
Yeah. And
it must be when you're securing a car, though. That's what's going on here. It doesn't matter. It's not a thing. So, like I don't know. With Perez, what's going on? He's already signed the goddamn contract. Why is he slinging it about like that?
It's a curse of the second Red Bull driver, isn't it?
Is it a curse?
Well, nobody's managed to make it work when Verstappen's been number one, have they?
Ricardo, that was Ricardo's replacement. I can't remember. Ask me a question about something that happened in 1986, and I'm fine. Who was next?
We're getting on. Now we're getting into the Mercedes and the Ferrari. So we've got George Russell. He was 7th. And they were quite a ways down the road. He was good 15 seconds.
Little bit of few overtakes of Hamilton and Russell.
They were on different strategies.
Getting it together a little bit. It's getting a bit tense in that team, I feel.
Do you think it was because Toto wasn't there?
No, I think it's getting tense to who's number one.
You think?
Yeah. I do. Yeah.
Is this Lewis showing that he doesn't play well with others?
Doesn't share his toys. Maybe. I think because they're always line astern on the track, aren't they? Those two. I mean, you've got the same situation in Ferrari. I think Ferrari, there's going to be a situation between them hitting each other at some point.
I think there will be. Yeah, I think
we've seen that. These two teams, Ferrari and Mercedes, the drivers are so kind of quite close that I'm number one.
Who's ahead every week, don't they? Leclerc was ahead this week.
Because you don't have that in McLaren. McLaren, Norris is ahead of Piastri. Piastri's good, but he's
getting nibbled at.
He's getting nibbled at, but his race pace is better.
But when you watch him getting interviewed, he's definitely not as jovial as he used to be.
Well, we had Ricciardo in his team, mate, didn't he? Yeah.
Don't matter.
I suppose that's the point we're making, isn't it? When Alonso's in 8th and he can be as jovial as he likes because his teammates slammed it into the wall or something.
But the thing is, at the moment, Lando and Oscar are playing nice with each other because Oscar's not beating Lando. But what's going to happen if they get the same situation as they've got in Mercedes and Ferrari where they're flip-flopping?
They're close to that. They're close to that, but Piastri's not there on his race pace. He's not there on his race pace.
Nearly.
But he's there. He's there on his qualifying pace, but not consistently in the race.
Well, getting there on a podium, that's got to do him a big.
Yeah.
Got to boost his confidence a lot. And then second was Norris, and then first was Max. He was 19 and a bit seconds down the road.
Well, it's interesting that on Sky they interviewed him before he got in the car, and the lady said, "Oh, what's your strategy? Pull ahead and get 30 seconds down the road?" And he just went, "Yeah," and he laughed. And 19 seconds. Now they had a virtual safety car.
Hello.
They had didn't they? So that could have knocked off some time. So 30 seconds down the road isn't so distant for him. He just said, yeah, I'm going to sort of put off into the distance. A little bit of a tussle at the start between the McLarens, but they were never going to beat him on pace.
It would have been good to see somebody in front of him for a bit of the race.
Yeah, like when we had Sainz in front of him for a bit, and there was a lot of work.
On pace as well, not just track position, not just because of pit stops.
That's not going to. It's not going to happen this year, is it? It's a shame. Singapore was the only one, wasn't it? Where they fell over, and that was why it was such an engaging race to watch, because everybody else, including Perez, are all pretty evenly matched compared to Verstappen. If you're going to say it, Verstappen is just 20 seconds ahead of everybody else.
Easily, yeah.
When you divide that up by when you divide that by how many laps there are, that's how much raw pace he's got ahead of everybody else. How many laps was it?
54, 53.
19 divided by 53. I'm not going to do it, but that's how much faster he is per lap. I think we've done it, haven't we?
Remember, that's entirely on raw pace. There's no DRS involved in that.
No, yeah, we're 19 seconds down the road. It's just you might get lucky with a back marker to get a faster lap.
Yeah.
Who got faster?
Oh, yeah, I suppose, yeah. That's one of the most underused components on an F1 car, isn't it? Max Verstappen's DRS flap.
Doesn't need it. We're going to save room on your steering wheel, and we'll put a little button there if you fancy ordering a pizza before you finish, or something like that. Deliveroo or something like that.
They're showing the upgrades to Max Verstappen's steering wheel. They're installing Netflix on the.
If you want to watch it closer, you can watch it on Sky on the screen.
Yeah.
It's just
press the red button, watch your own rider board.
Yeah, watch your own inboard. That would be weird. That'd be kind of meta, wouldn't it? Okay, so we've done the race. So let's now do pit talk. Pit talk. Hey, pit talk. Go for it.
Pit talk. Are we going to answer?
What do you think is going to happen with these penalties?
Well, I think what happened with Perez, I think that's going to stop.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think they had to tread carefully when he came in, not to breach Parc Fermé, and because there's only so much work they're allowed to do before it can go back out on the track in a pit stop. Because he now has the longest pit stop record.
40 minutes.
Yeah, 40 minutes, something like that, yeah. As opposed to 4 days, which was Valtteri Bottas in Monaco. But so they had to be aware of that before when he came in, they just didn't touch the car. For the FIA
so when he came in, they knew they were going to do that.
Well,
did he get out of the car?
He didn't. Yeah, he did get out of the car, but they didn't alter anything on the car, which prevented him rejoining the race.
Yeah.
They also didn't give a reason why he DNF'd, so we don't know if it was what the problem was with the car. It must have still been safe to drive, but it must have been a performance-related, non-critical failure or issue with the car, like the floor, or it wasn't creating enough downforce, or the amount of bouncing that had done, has it damaged the shocks, was it sitting at the wrong ride height, something like that. They didn't tell us, but it obviously wasn't a safety concern, and it wasn't going to cause the engine to fail or anything.
And for them as well, if you're not going to end up in the points, there's just, you might as well retire, mate.
But if he didn't serve his time penalty during the race, it would convert into a grid penalty in the following race, which is what they wanted to avoid, and that's why they sent him back out. So he did a lap, did a pit stop, served his 5 seconds, they changed his tyres, put him back out again, and he came back round and then back into the pit box and retired the car again.
You can't knock them. They know the rule books.
No, they're gaming the rules, as he said. It's that,
and that's the only way the rules change is when someone games it. Yeah. Every time, isn't it? It's like, well, hang on.
Makes you wonder, have they had that? Have they been having that in the pocket? Why use it now?
What do you mean?
If you flip that card, the FIA are going to see it and then stop it, right? Whoever flips that card, could they have used it at a better time? What are they going to gain from Perez not having they've won the championship, right? Perez is second in the Drivers' Championship.
Well, just have it in your pocket, like keeping that get out of jail free card and go, no, I'm going to go to jail.
Yeah. Oh, what difference is it going to make? It's going to mean that he doesn't lose 3 grid points.
The probability of the circumstances happening again means you might as well just do it. It's like when you're playing Monopoly and you've got the get out of jail free card, you might as well use it when you're going to.
Do you think they knew about it before the race, or it was only in that specific?
They just worked out that he had a 5-second penalty, so he'd only have to serve a. They just sort of went, well, the car's still all right. We haven't touched it. Send him out. I don't think it was some kind of like, well, we know that we could do this, beforehand. I don't think that at all.
Yeah.
I think because otherwise, there's no gain in it, even if you do know it. There was another incident, wasn't there, where Schumacher won the race by going through serving a pit penalty on the last lap. Have you seen that? Yeah. And he crossed the line before he actually served the penalty. But he did it.
That was the GPS tracker, wasn't it? He crossed the line with the GPS tracker.
But he did it within the allotted laps, and he won the race. And it's like they didn't think, oh, we know about this, let's use it now. They don't know about it. It's just circumstantial. Or hang on, if he comes in the pits on the last lap, the start finish line's there. He's still going to win the race rather than bring him in a lap earlier and serve a penalty and potentially lose the race. So I don't think it's that premeditated. It's interesting that they only surface when you work it out on the day, I think. What do I know? But I think it's going to be changed, that there's going to be a caveat of if you've taken another driver out, you've got to have a penalty. That is bigger than what's going on in the race. Because the 5-second penalty does seem to be now, it feels like it's a bit redundant. What do you think?
Yeah, it is a bit. It is quite. It's a bit like pissing in the wind, to be honest. It doesn't really make anything. It doesn't change the outcome substantially. It doesn't.
Especially if you've taken someone out of the race and out of the potentially out of the points. That costs money. That costs real money to a team.
Yeah.
A lower team like Haas or Williams, that costs them a lot of money. And what's going to happen to you? You're going to get 5 seconds. Oh, by the way, your teammate is behind you. He'll back off, and so that you finish. Do you know what I mean? Or
yeah,
you can easily get that 5 seconds ahead of everybody else. Should we go to a Murray, and then we can?
Oh yeah. Then we can do some more pit talk.
Bit more pit talk
before that. There's I want to talk about driver placements. Obviously, Sargent, you're saying that he's still shaky at Williams, and the obvious shoe-in.
Shaky isn't the word for it. I'm telling you now.
Yeah. Well, the obvious replacement would be Liam Lawson, but turns out he's signed a contract agreement with the Red Bull team.
Right.
He's pre-contracted with them as the reserve driver to take over from Danny Rick. So he's going to be the reserve and simulator driver for the Red Bull group for next season. So he's going to take a year out after this performance with AlphaTauri. He's going to stay with Red Bull, and
if Danny Rick doesn't have his fingers fixed or pull his socks up or whatever, Danny Rick's out.
Do you think Danny Rick's the one that's worried?
Oh, see, this is why you should stick around. This is
Perez,
Crash Bandicoot there in the other Red Bull. He should be the one that's worried because he's actually fumbling around like an idiot, and his contract's up then, isn't it?
At the end of next season, yeah.
Yeah, he's over. I don't know. It'll end up in a legacy team.
But
the little retirement package with Haas or Williams. Not even Williams.
Well, hang on, how many teams? Which teams is he not driven for? Remember, Perez has been in the game a long time.
Right. Let's see.
Right? A long time.
Get him up. Get his stats up. Let's see how many teams he's done. He's done McLaren. He's done what would have been Force India.
For a long time. Yeah, he was with that team for a long time.
I saw an overtake, Jolene Palmer's analysis, which is excellent, by the way. He showed an overtake of Perez, and I think he was in a Williams.
You, Julian, got something going on.
Yeah, he's another one. I think he was in a Williams.
Did you meet him on Grindr?
It's never going to stop. Okay.
You just bite too easily.
Yeah, I know. I do. I'm always red faced on this. I don't know why.
That's what
you couldn't tell if I went red because I look like. Did I miss a joke?
Yeah, I said you bite too easily, and that's what your Grindr reviews say.
Yes, 5 stars. Bites too easily.
Stauber, McLaren.
Stauber? Who's Stauber? How much more?
Stauber.
Oh, all right. Don't get
He's been at Alfa Romeo,
Stauber,
right? McLaren, Force India, Racing Point, then Red Bull. Yeah, so he's been around.
Say them again. I missed them. I was thinking Sauber.
Yeah.
McLaren, Red Bull, Racing Point, which was Force India.
Yeah, Force India, then Racing Point. So yeah.
What did he start? What team was he started out in?
4. Sauber.
Oh, Sauber.
Well, it was Sauber.
Where Alonso started. Well, I think Alonso started in Sauber.
Yeah.
So you think Lawson in the second Red Bull? That is a tasty little move by Lawson.
It is, isn't it?
And that's a circumstantial thing because of the Daniel Ricciardo thing. Everything. Yeah. Nick De Vries being rubbish.
But no, this is all because Alex Albon got appendicitis.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You've gone back. Go for it. Explain your reason. This is good.
Albon got appendicitis.
Oh, yes.
Nick De Vries got a call in the middle of a cup of coffee and did a stellar representation at Monza. Got a drive for AlphaTauri, which he then stoofed up, which then put Danny Rick in the spare seat, and then Danny Rick gets injured. Liam Lawson steps in, and that's how Max's dominance is busted.
All of this is down to that's brilliant. That is brilliant. All of this is down to Alex Albon's appendix giving up at the right time.
Yep.
Liam Lawson could be a future world champion, and he could go up on that stage. and say, I'd just like to thank Alex Albon's
Albon.
expired appendix, because this would have never, ever have happened. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Alex Albon's appendix holds the key to a future world champion. Just think about that, everybody. Just take a moment to think about it while we...
Oh, and the fact that Alex Albon used to be a Red Bull driver. Do you see that full circle there? That's
No.
Alex Albon getting his revenge on Max Verstappen is what that is.
Could it be something to do with Danny Kvyat as well? Can we get him in?
Well, that's going to take some thinking.
Danny
I think Murray
Kvyat
finds that
losing
unbelievable.
his seat and his wife and his kid got Alex Albon in, which you can't prove the causation on the appendicitis. It stops at the appendix.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to work harder on that conspiracy theory. I like it though.
All right. Okay.
On that note, what else are we going to talk about in Pit Talk? Oh, you're looking up already. Okay,
Got a couple of things.
go for it. We'll go after Anne Murray in 9 minutes.
Okay. We're going to
Bloody
go
Zoo.
now.
I'm working on. We'll talk about it in a minute. We've got to wait 9 minutes between two halves, haven't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Murray.
Murray's up there. He's up
Oh,
there.
is he? All right.
Murray, tell us about Alex Albon's appendix.
So easy to get it wrong.
Thank you, Murray.
Well done, Murray.
So where were we in Pit Talk apart from Alex Albon's appendix? What other stuff we got in Pit Talk?
I want to talk about Aston Martin.
You want to talk? Go for it.
And they had a test driver in the Hungaroring. Did you see this in the mainstream press?
No, I didn't. I don't see a lot of things in the mainstream press, to be honest.
So Jessica Hawkins.
Hey, I'm going to
is,
guess that's a lady.
Yes, it is a lady. Not just
One of-
any lady either.
One of the proper ladies, real ladies.
Oh, she's a lady. She does ladies things.
Oh, that's you cancelled.
Why? I mean,
He's phobic of some kind. Go for it.
she has she's a very accomplished British racing driver.
Okay.
She was a stunt driver in the Bond movies, in the recent one.
That's
that one?
cool.
She's been in Fast and Furious. She was in the W series. She's in the touring car series. She was in No Time to Die.
Jesus.
And yesterday she did some testing at the Hungaroring in the
In a Red Bull, by any chance?
in the 2021 Aston Martin car.
Oh, wow. Okay. Usually Red Bull have got
She's-
their own claws on everybody, haven't they?
She's been an Aston Martin ambassador for a couple of years.
Okay, maybe
she's-
not.
She looks the part as well, which will probably get me cancelled. But she is a very, very capable driver, and that's the most important thing.
I'm not going to Google her right now. Not in the middle of the podcast.
I can share the screen if you want,
Go on in.
or not. Let me find some.
Aren't we just objectifying here? We don't do
No,
that
but
by
she's-
putting a grid girl in every single thumbnail of our podcast. We don't objectify women at all. It's disgraceful.
She is a very. The first time I saw her was on the Scrapyard Challenge TV show on National Geographic. Have you seen that on where they
No.
have two teams and they get a mission to build stuff? And that was the first time I saw her. She was in there welding and building cars and you know she's undeniably good looking, but she knows her stuff, and that's the thing that comes over. She's joined Aston Martin as a brand ambassador, a driver ambassador in 2021. So she's been there a while, and she pushed them to give her a shot in the car.
She pushed them.
Yeah.
What were her lap times like? Respectable?
They've not commented on that yet. but can you let me?
Is this
share the
following?
screen?
Yes, I have already.
Okay.
Would this follow on from we talked about it previously, the Daniel Ricciardo kind of thing about branding?
I believe that this was during Seb Vettel's tenure at Aston Martin.
Yeah,
They appointed Jessica, right? And she's a very, very talented driver.
I can see that.
Well,
I'm reading her stats. One of the stars of the W Series, the International Formula 3. Yep, she rocks a bucket hat as well. Brilliant. Yeah.
Yep, she does, and a bobble hat. The bobble hat is my favorite look. But she's the first female.
She's better dressed than Lewis Hamilton. We can safely say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
okay.
the first female since in 5 years to drive a Formula One car. Susie
in 5 years?
Yeah. Not at a free practice session as part of a Grand Prix weekend.
Wow, all right. So some of those other girls in the W Series have driven a Formula One car, haven't they?
Not in the last 5 years.
Ever?
Not in the last 5 years.
Wow. That's stunningly ridiculous.
Yeah. But this leads on to something else that I wanted to talk about was you might think this is unrelated, but Pierre Gasly.
Well, no, because now I believe that Alex Albon's appendix will breed a future world champion. Okay, so let's just go for it. Yeah.
So Pierre Gasly wants Alpine to narrow its cockpit size.
Pierre Gasly wants that.
Yeah, because he's a slighter frame, right? Than Alex, Ocon, yeah.
Okay.
So he wants it slimmer and he wants it to fit him better, right? So one of the some of the challenges that they have of getting a female into a Formula One car is getting them out again, and the shape of the opening at the top doesn't fit their hips. Now, Naomi Schiff has spoken about this quite a lot. She's a beautiful, curvaceous woman, but her hips won't fit into the cockpit of a Formula One car. And the majority of women's hips won't fit in there. Even with the tens, the neck guard, when you take that out, they still can't fit in the gap at the top. It's one of the restrictions.
The halo gap?
Yeah, they can't fit in the gap. So what they need to do is they need to design the car in a more unisex way that it doesn't. Would
it have been they could have got in the car before the halo, pre-halo?
No, it's not the halo. It's the the bit that clips their hair. They unclip and lift it out. Yeah, that bit. Not the halo. The halo's a solid part of the car. That's at the front.
That's just the shoulders, though, isn't it? And that
the hips.
Okay, no, I'm not disputing it.
Most men's shoulders are wider than their hips.
Right. Oh, okay.
There's a lot of ladies that their hips are wider than their shoulders.
Okay.
And that causes a problem with the car, right?
Right.
And that's quite a superficial thing. You can understand that it's a wider car, so it's got less. Its aerodynamics are different, but there's a lot of other issues with having a female in the car and making it a generic cockpit size and making we've spoken about this before when we were talking about Jamie Chadwick. One of the challenges Jamie Chadwick has is the steering wheel, the size of the steering wheel and how much information on it. Her thumbs aren't physically big enough to be able to grip it strong enough and reach to the buttons in the middle of the steering wheel. So what they need to do is make the steering wheel...
statistically, women's hands are smaller.
Yes.
Okay.
And the women that are coming through
we don't
all get problems.
Yeah.
And that's why they're not making
redesigning a steering wheel for a lady wouldn't be a problem, would it? That's
not just the steering wheel, but it's
not just the steering wheel. That's what
knock-on effects.
Yeah, it's all these other things.
It's the gearing in the steering wheel, right? Because you're redesigning the steering wheel and the mapping and the layout of the buttons and all that kind of stuff. If you're going to have it the same for the software as the guys, right? Yeah. You've got a much smaller. If your shoulders are that's the safe steering position or the comfortable steering position. Let's do it like that. It's
okay.
With my arms, my shoulder width apart.
A slight kink in the arms, not dead straight, but a slight kink, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's the same width as your shoulders.
Okay.
Right. if your shoulders are narrower, it gives you a much smaller Netflix screen for Max Verstappen. Let's put it that way, right? So it means there's less space to put all those buttons.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's one challenge, right? Then you've got the challenge of the force that you exert on the steering column, right? So you've got to redesign the gearing on the steering column to get the different input, but with the same output.
Right, okay, yeah. That'll be a software thing, wouldn't it?
It depends if it's mechanical or
set to ladies mode, click. Yeah.
Yeah, but is it not mechanical?
Not when I wouldn't presume when it comes to the force of this movement. Is it all mechanical? Is there no computerized bit that tells? I don't know. I'm right. You could almost see the outer edges of my knowledge there, couldn't you? I was literally on the horizon of what I understand about modern Formula One cars. I was just literally there. Do you know what? That sounds fantastic, though. It just sounds fantastic.
It's great.
Why has it been 5 years, though?
You know, I don't think
they talk the talk all the time, didn't they? You know,
I don't think Jessica's that tall or that. She's not on a comparable height with any of the. You know, she's not the same size as George Russell, for example. She's definitely not the same size as him. But
she's honest, Yuki Tsunoda.
She's taller than Yuki Tsunoda, but it's so.
But his hips are fine.
But there's so many different questions that are needing answered, and this is a really, really good step towards it, and making progress in that direction, I think.
Yeah, it is, because there has been female Formula One drivers.
There's been one that started in 1976.
Yeah, but there's been
Bella Lombardi.
There was a lady in the 90s, 1992, I think. She drove a Brabham.
Nobody else has started a
a race, but she tried to qualify and she tested and stuff like that. So
and
in the older days, they could get in the cars.
Susie Wolff is the most recent woman driver to try out in a
Williams, her own dad's
free practice session.
Why am I thinking of?
She was the last female to try in a free practice session.
Yeah.
So she's a perfect ambassador for the Formula Academy and bringing all that through, bringing all the women's.
Would there be a regulation difficulty where the car has to be changed so much that all the other cars have to be changed that way to keep in line with, regulations? Do you see what I mean?
No.
Standardized regulations.
Well, the cars are standardized.
Could some of the changes be interpreted as an advantage?
For who?
For the team doing the changes.
It's a standard car. All the cars are built to the same set of standards.
Yeah, but they must have regulations for the cockpit and things like that, don't they? No bigger than this, no small. You know what those bureaucrats are like.
All the teams have the same ones.
They have the same ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm thinking about is there regulations around the steering wheels?
No.
None at all.
There will be, but
there can't be that many, because when you look at the Williams steering wheel, the screen's not on the steering wheel.
I think the regulations you're talking about, it has to be released easily. It has to be clip off and take out. It has to be smaller than the. You know
what I'm talking about, don't you? If they change something in the car that another team, what some teams are like, they could deem that as an advantage or a breaking of another regulation. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying rightly or wrongly or anything like that. That another team go, well, they've gained an advantage here because of this and this and this.
That's gaming the rules, as we spoke about earlier.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting how much they can change the car to accommodate a female driver without breaking those kind of sort of standard regulations, or another team going, protest. You know what they're like, protest. We can't do that. I don't know. I'm just saying. It's not me making some kind of stance. Being an old man. It's me stating that that there might have to be some alteration of the regulations on the cars so that it becomes more of a reality. That's what I'm asking. I'm not saying
There's got to be changes in technical directives, all right?
yeah, exactly. So that everybody's still fair across the board. Yeah. But that's very interesting.
Yeah.
But like I mentioned before, with her kind of background in movies and things like that, being the old cynic, is it because of that as well and a marketing ploy for Aston Martin?
No, I think she's the real
I'm
deal.
not saying she's not good, but
he was out.
that adds to the signability.
She was out at the same time as Felipe Drugovich, who is the Formula 2 champion and the Aston Martin standby driver.
Yeah.
Who, if Lance Stroll had crashed earlier in the season, in the session for Singapore, he would have been in the car.
She would have been in the car.
He would have been in the car.
Oh.
Felipe Drugovich, right? So they
right.
were in and out of the car. They were sharing the same car. So, she is capable.
I'm not saying she's not, but it enhances her signability. She's capable already, but all that other stuff, like we talked about Daniel Ricciardo.
Are you saying that? Are you suggesting, Wayne, that she's been given advantages and opportunities dependent on her, or enhanced opportunities because of her aesthetics?
No, I'm saying because of her job, what she's done. Not because of her looks, because she's been in those films.
Yeah, but nobody knows she's been in the film. She's a stunt driver. You don't see her.
You know damn well that as soon as she appears on the Formula 1 grid, they're going to be saying that, aren't they? And that's going to be cool, isn't it?
It's part of her driving CV, It's
in the same way that Daniel Ricciardo's personality is part of the reason why he's been signed. Because it's not. We can argue whether it's his talent in the car, couldn't we?
Did you know who?
But when we talked about it, his signability was the brand Daniel Ricciardo. Okay, I'm talking.
Did you know
her looks
Danica
being
Patrick
part of
was?
it? Her looks being part of it, and her stunt driving and being in Bond films is part of her brand as well.
Did you know who Danica Patrick was before she started commentating for Sky F1?
Yeah, she was an Indy driver.
I didn't know that.
Oh, right. I did.
So I think it would be a similar impact like that. If you know who she is, you know who she is, but she will reach a bigger audience because of her promotion to the F1 grid. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but you can't take away the looks factor and the stuff she's done. That's what I'm saying.
No, but she's not there because she looks good. She's there because she drives well, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah, but what I'm arguing is Daniel Ricciardo is there because he's Daniel Ricciardo, not because he drives well.
Really?
That's what you said on a few podcasts ago. Not because of his job. You didn't mention the driver.
Point then
it enhanced his chance
against a comparable driver. Is this what your point is? Against a comparable driver? Because my point then was against a comparable driver, you'd rather hire Danny Rick because of the viewership in America and Drive to Survive and Danny's personality, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You'd hire him, right? That's what I'm checking. So you're saying that she's getting elevated because she's been in Bond movies?
No, not on a single basis, not on just that, but as a package.
Quality drivers.
As a package. That's what I'm saying. Yeah?
I think it's kind of moot because I don't think there's as many female drivers in that position ready to go in a Formula 1 car.
Okay, I'm just saying the whole package of it.
Yeah.
Not just the one aspect, she's a movie star. Not just the one aspect, she's attractive. Not just the one aspect, she's a good driver. It's the package, isn't it? It's the whole thing. Like we said about Daniel Ricciardo, and I would argue that Daniel Ricciardo, he's not that good a driver. But like you said, the Drive to Survive, all of that package, the Danny Rick brand comes with it. It adds to it. It's an adding thing. That's what I'm arguing.
I think there's different there's a much deeper pool to pick from in the men's driver market.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And I think as a female who's that qualified and, to be honest, is that high achieving.
Yeah, she sounds like
she stands herself out.
How old is she?
Don't know. I think she's too old for she's 28.
To have done all that by 28. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah. She's not in the.
What had I done when I got to 28? I mean, Jesus. Well, I didn't do bad, but you know.
She finished 9th in the W Series in 2022.
Yeah.
And 11th the year before that, and 11th the year before that. So, I think she's past the window for the academy, F1 Academy. I think they're going to be the first female Formula One drivers. The ones that are going to be pushing for places, pushing for Formula 2 championships, pushing for places on the F1 grid.
It's all great. It's all positive.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna. Well, let's hope it works out. You know, because we'd all like to see it, wouldn't we? It'd be good.
Right. Are we going to answer?
We're going to answer the question, then we're going to do predictions.
Are we?
Guys, hold on. The guy who the chap who put the comment in, he's waited long enough. Go for it. The floor's yours.
So our very friend of the podcast,
we got one. We got one.
Friend of the podcast, Rehan Zarif 681. Look him up on YouTube. Asked a question about degradation. They all use the same tires, but Haas is terrible on its tires compared to Red Bull. His question was, what's the engineering behind it? How do different cars have different levels of degradation? Right? Start me off with the difficult one. Because there's so many different things.
I'm just going to sit back and relax and soak up your knowledge. Go for it.
So the tires themselves, which are constant across the teams, they're affected by temperature, pressure, and downforce, basically, right? So the rougher the track, the higher the degradation. The warmer the track, the quicker they're going to get into the window where they're sticky and not glassy, and they're not marbling, all that kind of stuff, right? That's all just the track and the tire. Okay, so that's the standard degradation, right? So different tracks in different places have standard degradation, right?
So when they get to a track, well, 1 second, just when they get to a track, they must have just a golden number that goes, right, this track has this standard degradation.
Pirelli do, yeah, that's what Pirelli.
And they must type in the calculation, right? The temperature's this.
Yeah.
The moisture's this or whatever.
All the teams have software that can, when they're working on strategy, they have software where they put all these variables in, and it gives them what all the possible outcomes could be. Okay. So all that AWS, powered by AWS, right? Amazon Workday Statistics, or whatever they call it, right?
You know what? I knew it was something to do with Amazon, but I didn't know what it stood for. There you go. I've learned something.
All these variables get fed into that software and other similar software that the teams all use. So they say, right, we can do plan A, which is 15 laps. We can do plan B, which is 20 laps. We can do plan C, which is 30 laps. We can do plan Z, which is a safety car lap 1, and then we change to this and we do all that, right?
Yeah.
So we've got all these things preloaded, and that's
before the car, before even the car.
Before we even get to the car, right? So that's just the tire, the track, is it C1, C2, C3, C4, C5?
Temperature.
What compound it is, temperature, pressure, and surface of the track. Okay. Right. Then the question was, how does it differ between each car? Right.
Okay.
And it's not between each team. The question was between each team, between Ferrari and Haas, for example, right? But it's down to the driver, it's down to the car, it's down to the setup, it's common knowledge that Max likes his car set up so that it's nose heavy, right?
So he's choppy at the front.
He can drive in, he can
yeah.
steer in, right? Which means that there's more pressure there's more downforce.
Less rear end grip.
Hang on. More downforce on the front wheels so that when he turns, they're getting driven sideways.
Yeah.
Because he's getting driven from the back. There's not as much downforce at the back, so he's Tokyo drifting round. So his tires slide round the corner rather than going forward, which is what they're designed for. So there's a lot more heat goes into his tires. So he maybe degrades them quicker than Sergio in this exact same car because he has his car set up differently.
Yeah.
Right. But then it also comes down to how fast do they put the power down. If he's putting the power down quicker, he's fuel spinning, or if he's doing it slowly, he's driving. Like Alex Albon, for example, is really good on tires. He accelerates slowly out of corners, or he starts accelerating sooner, or he just manages
a longer time. Yeah.
Slower on the accelerator, right?
Less wheel spin.
How much downforce you've got, how much DRS you get, how the car is set up, whether it's a front to back balance, left to right balance, how you adjust the brakes. If you're braking and you're right brake heavy on the track, then that right wheel is going to degrade quicker because it's slowing down faster and possibly not locking up enough to make a puff of smoke and be commented on, but it's coming around the corner, it's slowing down, it's having to grip harder, and that's degrading it a lot more. So it is a massively complicated question, and it is
one
different.
that obviously you can't answer because the variables are so many.
They're huge, yeah.
Yeah,
and hopefully by giving you an idea of how many variables are involved and which ones are involved.
But when they say the Williams are good on their tyres or the Haas is good on this and that, there's still something about the car they're talking about.
Yeah. So when you accelerate, it's drive-by-wire. It's not a wire like we have in our cars or the old-fashioned cars where you can pull the cable on the bottom of the accelerator, leave the pedal where it is, pull the cable, and right? It's all by wire, right?
Yeah.
So the software in different modes, when you start, there's different modes, so you can wheel spin and get more thing in different modes of the race. If you're trying to save fuel, if you're lifting and coasting and all that kind of stuff, it'll accelerate slower so that it uses less fuel, and like tiny adjustments all the way through. But that's how much force is put in the wheel to try and spin it. That's got to be converted into grip. So if you put too much down compared to the grip, it's going to tear the rubber off the tire more. So if you've got that software right on bang on, it's going to grip at the same speed it's turning, if that makes sense.
It's not going to slip. There's not going to be a slip if it's too fast, and it needs to be. And if it's too slow, it's just too slow, isn't it? I suppose. Yeah. And then you lose temperature. Is that when you
little parts of it? It's also to do with the downforce. What's the downforce like straight? What's the downforce like round a corner? What's the front downforce like? What's the back downforce like? What's the wind doing on a certain day? That all affects downforce. So it's a hugely complicated
and thing. How much rubber's already been put down? What part of the race it's in?
Yep. Which part of
it's
the track?
It's a massive question. That's a really massive question. Thank you so much for sending us the question. And we're sorry we can't give you would have been easier if we just said, Red Bull's easier or something. But it's actually a massive question. But you've just exploded it into like a million variables.
Yeah.
Which go together to make a car either good on its tyres, bad on its tyres, a driver bad on its tyres.
But these are all things that make the sport interesting, isn't it? It's all these little intricacies that you can either watch it and watch cars driving around.
Just drive around. People just say
round for 2 hours, or you can get into this level of detail and understand why it is.
And all this has that trickle down effect to the cars we drive today. All that technology, and stuff like that.
Brakes,
the
tires,
the batteries, stuff like that. It's very interesting. And on that note, we'll end Pit Talk and we'll get to predictions, shall we?
I've been to riot. Riot.
Hey, let's go now. Seamless.
Yeah, let's go.
They'll never know. Okay. So let's share the screen and see who has come out on top here on predictions. Okay. So now I get to find out. Can you see that, sir?
Yes, I can.
You can. You can see already that you've done better than me. Although you've got Perez there, which is okay.
There's a couple of things I did wrong.
Yeah. What? Who got fastest lap?
Yeah.
Who got pole first? Who got pole?
Pole was Max Verstappen.
Yeah. So nothing for you, and nothing for me. Who got fastest lap?
I don't know if you've heard of this guy, Max Verstappen.
Oh, we'll never make it. So nothing for you, nothing for me. What was the fastest lap?
The fastest lap was 1 minute 34.83. You win that one.
I get a point. Nothing for you. Okay, here we go. Let's do just total up your points here. Verstappen, you get 2 points. Science, where did he come?
Science was 6th.
Okay, I'm going to give you 1 point for that. Perez, nowhere.
Perez was,
yeah, he's still in the pit.
Russell
He's still not
was
retired yet, officially. Russell was
No,
seventh.
he's still driving around.
You got a point for that. And where did the clerk come?
The clerk was 4th.
Oh, 1 point. Norris, you get a
Norris
point.
was
second, yeah.
Hamilton was 5th.
Oh, you get a point for that. You just consistent. It's consistency, isn't it?
3rd.
It's just consistency. Oh, where did he come?
Alonso was 8th, so I missed up there.
Oh, Albon, no.
Albon DNF.
So let's add up your points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 1, 5, 6. Keep that logged in your head. 1, 5, 6. Let's add up my points. I get 1 for Sainz. I get 1 for Verstappen. Leclerc 1. Yeah. Russell 1.
Yeah.
Hamilton.
1.
Where did he come?
Hamilton was 5th. You get 2 for Hamilton.
Tried a cheeky one on me there. 2 for me. Okay. Norris 1. Alonso. He was 8th, wasn't he?
Alonso was 8th, yeah.
1. Nothing for the Stroll. Come on, Stroll. Sort yourself out. Gasly
was 10.
And nothing for
Gasly. You got a point for Gasly.
Oh, okay. 1 point and nothing for Sonoda. God love him. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 1, 4.
Yeah, you beat me.
8. I did I? You got 9? Yeah. I gained 1 point on you, my friend. Right. Remember those numbers. 1, 4, 8, which is not the highest score.
1, 5, 6.
Which is the highest score in snooker, isn't it?
155. Did you not watch last week's podcast?
Come on! If you didn't watch last week's podcast, you'd have found that funny. No, you wouldn't have. Not
Are
even we found it funny when we did it.
Are we going to do Qatar predictions?
Yes, we are. Okay.
All right.
Let's get the information up while I find.
As you get ready for the Qatar predictions, I will give you the track stats.
Just like a robot.
Lusail International Circuit is the location for the Formula One Qatar Airways Qatar Grand Prix 2023.
They say Qatar twice. They have to say it twice now because it's so big of names. Yeah.
Oh no, they say Qatar Airways once, and then they say it's the Qatar Grand Prix.
Okay.
Potato.
Potato.
The first Grand Prix was in 2021. The circuit length is 5.418 kilometers, which means we will be doing 57 laps to give us a race distance of 308.826 kilometers. Interestingly, there is no lap record
really?
at the moment. And the last race report we have is from 2021. So did we not do Qatar last year? I don't think we did we?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you, my friend. Because I've slept since then, I think. I definitely have, yeah.
So I think it's been a while since we've been to this track. 2021. Let's see what the race results were for that. The fastest lap was 1:23.
Yeah.
By Max Verstappen, and Lewis Hamilton won.
Oh, it's not going to happen this year, is it? Let's be honest.
Nah.
That could be well, now I feel like because I've said it, it's jinxed it and he will win it. But I'm not going to take that risk anymore. I've been too many risks in this. This is why I'm... Oh, well, first of all, let's draw on here the points. What was it? I was 148. Oh, come on. I've just got the pen up there. Come on. Okay. Now go away. 148. You're 1146, aren't you?
156.
Oh, 15.
You were 148. I was 156.
6. Okay. Now I can get rid of the pen. There we go. Okay, sir. Who's going to be pole position?
Oh, I'm going to be playing Vanilla Max for both, to be honest. It's a sprint shootout this weekend as well.
We're never going to be able to incorporate any points in for that, are we? We'd have to do 2 predictions.
No.
Maybe we could have a little... No?
No.
Okay, just dismissed it outright. I was going to suggest we have a little side extra point for guessing the results next week if we do another podcast. He doesn't even like doing this one. So, who is the fastest lap time? Verstappen?
I think Verstappen is going to get fastest lap.
I'll put Max this time, just to mix it up a bit. And the lap time. What was the fastest lap, sir? Again, from the last time if anybody was here.
I don't know if they've changed it, to be honest. So this is my my concern is that maybe they've changed the layout. So just frantically trying to do some research on it.
Okay.
To see if it has been changed. Where's the Wikipedia? That's Wikipedia there. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's see.
Good old Wikipedia. That will tell you the
Formula
truth.
One.
I will always tell you the truth.
Yeah. Let's just it's not giving us a history of the layouts on that. Yeah, so let me see what Wikipedia says the fastest lap is.
Yeah, come on, Wikipedia. If not, put one in. 10 minutes. Fastest pit stop, 40 minutes. Sergio Perez.
So the race, the fastest
slowest
lap
retirement.
was
Oh, sorry. Go on.
1:23.196, and that was in 2021.
That's only two. I think we've got to go with it, haven't we? 1:23.196. So what are you going to go for? 1 minute. We can safely say it's over a minute.
Yeah, it's going to be 1 minute, I reckon.
Yeah.
And then I reckon 1 minute. That's those ones. These are
2 seconds
that's the
slower.
old style car, you see.
2 seconds slower. Or I reckon. Are they 2 seconds slower? Oh, look, mate. You've got. You're ahead by 8 points.
Let's go 1:21.542.
Yeah, that 542 makes it all the more. Okay, who, sir,
Unbelievable.
is going to win? Yeah, who's going to win this race? He says,
Max Verstappen.
as he slowly drags Max Verstappen to the top. There we go. Who's going to be second then? It's these boys, isn't it?
I reckon Lando's going to secure his spot as a guest on the Verstappen podcast.
Do you think? Are we not going to see Perez on another podium this year, or what?
Well, I was going to say Perez is going to be third, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. I don't think we're going to see Perez again on the podium. Okay, and
then Sainz, Hamilton, Russell.
Slowly. Come on, Sainz. Then you've got Hamilton.
I have to say the words as they come in my head.
I don't know what accent that is. And then Russell, line astern.
Yeah. Leclerc, Alonso,
You're not going to give Stroll another outing? He's had his chances, hasn't he, Stroll? No, Piastri. Ocon, okay.
Yeah, Ocon and then Piastri.
See, you completely forgot about Piastri then. So you've got Verstappen, Norris,
Out of the way.
Perez, Sainz 4th, Hamilton 5th, Russell 6th, Leclerc 7th, Alonso 8th, Ocon 9th, Piastri 10th. That's not a bad little go there. Right, okay, pole. Who am I going to go? I'm going to go Max because I need the points, basically. No more risks for me. Fastest lap. So I kind of feel like it doesn't really matter for fastest lap for the Red Bulls. Who's the fight for the it's going to be Hamilton. I'm going to go for Hamilton because he wants to get second. So he needs those points. Okay, 1 minute. I'm going to go a lot slower than you. Going to go 1 minute, 2, 3. Not really a lot, is it? To be honest. When we think about the expanse of time. Why didn't I put that in? 2, 3.478. Okay. Okay, who's going to win this race? Verstappen.
Well, you've asked me already.
That was a rhetorical question. I was actually worried that you'd frozen and I'd have to filibuster this bit on my own.
Are you pandering to our audio listeners?
Yeah, telling them what I'm doing. Is that all right? Right, so who's going to win Verstappen? Okay. Now, I'm going to go for another lockout here for McLaren. No, I want 2 of these guys. Come on. Piastri second. Do I want Piastri second? Yeah, because I think Norris is going to have a little bit of a whoopsie at the start. Let's go for the GOAT third. Who won it last year? Hamilton. The last time.
There wasn't a race last year. It was Verstappen the year before. It was hang on. What was it?
Hamilton. And then I'm going to go Sainz.
2021. The race results were. It was Hamilton won it.
And Leclerc. I'm going to let them. And then I think Norris is going to fall off the track at the start. There's going to be an incident, or something's going to happen. Norris is going to be 6th.
Controversial win.
And then I'm going to have Russell 7th. Right. Now, I'm going to get someone else in the mix here. This is the only gambling I'm going to do. I'm going to do Albon. He's had so many bad races. He needs one there. I'm going to have Albon there. Got all the big boys there, haven't I? Alonso.
Most of them.
I'm not going to give Stroll another outing. He's done now for me. Stroll.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's either Ocon or Gasly. What do you reckon?
Gasly out, I thought.
Yeah, let's go Gasly. I did toy with Sonoda. That's a statement I don't want to say again. De Vries there, he's outstanding whoever at the moment. So I've got Verstappen first.
Are you rude, you know?
Verstappen first, Piastri second, Hamilton the GOAT third, 4th Sainz, 5th Leclerc, 6th Norris, 7th Russell, Albon 8th, Alonso 9th, and Gasly 10th. I'm going to take a screenshot of that. Done. That's that job done.
You send that to me so I can use it on this social.
I can send it to you almost immediately.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Oh, hang on. What time is it now? 20. Did a screenshot there. I've done 2 screenshots of it. What's going on? Right, okay. That's a different time. It's going to be this one, isn't it? Number 2. Let's have a look. No, that's the last week's. Where is it? This is great viewing and
awesome listening.
Okay, great listening and great viewing. Yeah, there it is. I'll just send it to you immediately. Look at this. Pop it in there.
Whoopee.
You've got it. Right, let's just stop sharing. Okay, there's our set in
Let's just say
stone.
that was.
That is the end, isn't it? We've got through it. And anybody want to? We've got 2 subscribers, new subscribers. I've left them until the end. I'll just say hi. I don't know who they are. I should go through and look at the names of the subscribers, and we should list them out, shouldn't we? One day we'll do that.
Wait, we're only on air for an hour.
Yeah, yeah. What are we going to do for the other 59 minutes?
Hey.
Hey, this has been the F1 Show podcast. I'm your host,
Man.
Wayne, and this is the man, not in the pits, but with the tits, Brendan. See you guys later. Woo!